So I found this interesting tweet here, and I was going to retweet, but then I thought, okay, let's just make it into a video because it was a bit too much. So it says, one extremely shocking thing to me is how many people, especially in tech, don't understand basic statistics. Conversions are down 30%. Please think, you have a sample size of 17 and no concept of statistical significance. Yet so many bad calls get made because of this. And I could not agree more. And mainly because I also have personal experience with this. Like, I have made this mistake. I have gathered bullshit data and took decisions because of that. And but I want to take it a step further, right? Like, not only you should not be tracking any conversion rates if your traffic is, let's say, not in the tens of thousands of millions per month, but arguably, even then, maybe you shouldn't track. And I have an unpopular opinion that marketing is not a science, period, full stop. And professional marketers and business gurus try to persuade you that funnels exist when funnels do not exist. I've written this recently, and that's why it's like top of mind, that contrary to popular belief in business gurus, I believe that funnels don't exist. They are made up by professional marketers that are trying to make their job a science when it is not. This is, for example, and I want you to think, forget about what you have read, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, or all the books, the marketing books that maybe you have read. I want you to think for yourself, like your own direct experience that no one can take from you. Is this how the world works? Like, you sign up for a product and then you fill out a form and then you add it to a list and then you enter this email sequence, and then on the third follow-up you upgrade. No. Like, I have never upgraded from a drip sequence campaign. Like, it has not happened. And in my opinion, this is what the world looks like more. You cannot accurately depict the world, it's like random, but this is like a little more chaotic depiction of how the world works, where you check out a product, then you forget about it completely, and then maybe 6 months later you see it again, and maybe you leave your email that time, and then you forget about it again, of course, right? And then you have a conversation with a friend maybe, and you happen to mention it, and you're like, oh yeah, that product, I wanted to use that actually, I saw that on Twitter or something. But you're currently moving houses, so you have other life priorities at the moment. And then you check your inbox a couple months later, and it is in the promotion tab, buried, but you find it somehow. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to buy this. And then maybe 1 month later, you see it again, and boom, you buy it. Meanwhile, a day before you convert, they made a few small changes on the landing page in the email sequence. And they are 100% certain that that is what triggered the conversion. And this just shows you that the world does not work like that, In my opinion, marketing is not a science, and you cannot really convert anyone. You cannot really persuade anyone to do something that they don't want to do, like common sense, You cannot make people buy. You cannot force them to buy. All you can do is keep them in your orbit, show them what you have built again and again and again, until they might decide that they want to buy. That's it. It's so simple. You just show it to more people again and again and again. Of course, you're going to make changes, right? But at low numbers, it's better to work with your gut than with your mind and your data, because your data is probably going to be absolute bullshit. And I know this from my own personal experience. When I was collecting emails for Cyberleads, I was really focusing on SEO, and I was collecting emails, and then I had like a questionnaire and drop down questions and stuff like that, and B and C was the most popular answer, I remember. Answer B and answer C. And it doesn't matter what the question was, because then I shuffled those answers, the same answers, just reordered them, and it was again B and C. And then I was like, okay, that is weird. So again, I shuffled and reordered the answers. And again, it was B and C. And no matter what I did, it was always B and C. And then one day I was like, okay, what do I do when I have a form that I need to fill out? I just like click, 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 click. And usually when you click, click on a drop down, your mouse is over B and C when you click, click. So this is just a tiny little example off the top of my head of how data can be bullshit. And then you take that data and you start extrapolating and making all these assumptions and guiding your product roadmap and all that stuff. So yeah, I would say don't do that. Don't be like me. And I think a reason why we do this and why I did that too is because many times when you don't know what to work on, this seems productive. After all, you're increasing your conversions, right? But that is what I call pretend work. That is something that I did. I still do, of course, I still do. Like I'm writing these books. Like these books they're not productive. They don't make money. I'm losing money writing these books. So I'm not saying that I am better than this. Like I do pretend work too. But if you're really trying to build a business and change your life and make money, that is what the work has to do. Like true work is about making money. Pretend work is stuff like this. It's like refactoring code and moving to AWS, when you have 0 users, or set up an A/B test when you have 300 visitors per month. This is exactly the same example. Or redesign landing page when the conversion is just fine. Or set up a business email or business cards or business paperwork when you're not even making any money yet. Or add a feature that no one asked for. Or improve the speed of a website. Or set up meta tags, whatever. True work is trying to make money. You launch, you show it to people, you follow up to people and send them payment links. That is what true work is. And finally, like this is not a knock on marketers specifically. I think anyone that has worked at a company knows this. Like you have experienced the circus for yourself. It's a circus, it's a clown show. Everyone is playing the professionalism game. Everyone is complicating their job to the manager to show them how much they work. Like I remember I used to have daily stand-ups, and in the daily stand-up you need to report what you did yesterday and what you're going to do today. And I remember saying something like, I would click on the space, to unmute, and I would say, yeah, so yesterday I worked on the bug and I solved the bug, and today I'm gonna continue with the feature that I was building. And that was it. That was my update. And then my colleagues that were smart, not like me, they knew the game, they would say like, yeah, so yesterday I started an investigation into the different database structures that we could implement, given that we are moving to Aurora DB, and the price is a factor that we need to have into consideration. And then I started the implementation of the blah 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 bullshit, just overcomplicating. No designer could understand anything, no product manager. The product manager had no idea what he was talking about. Frankly, I had no idea what he was talking about. I could not understand. And marketers are the same. Like they're trying to make their job a science when I don't think it is. And not only marketers, everyone, right? There are no recipes. Entrepreneurship is not a science either. I know Peter Thiel's 0 to 1 is like a more scientific approach to building a business. I don't really think that is the case. And of course, I cannot argue with Peter Thiel because I'm a loser compared to him. Like I've made like 1 million, he's made billions, right? But this is my experience and I wanted to share it with you. And yeah, hopefully it was useful. Peace out.